So this Apple event was different because it was the One More Thing event. This is a rare occurrence for Apple. They have done it in the past, the One More Thing. Those words mean a lot, and they were said by Steve Jobs as well as Tim Cook. And this was another one of those instances. The first time these words were ever used was in 1999 to showcase the new Apple Cinema display, 22 inches. If you skip to 2014, they used it to announce the Apple Watch. In 2015, they used it to announce Apple Music, and in 2017, they used it to announce the iPhone X. It's no doubt when Apple say these words, they mean something big, and this announcement lives up to that. Before we talk about the MacBooks and the Mac Mini, we got to take it a step back and just talk about the M1 chip that was announced. Now, this chip is basically why everyone's so hyped. They're revolutionizing what a Mac is. They're changing the software. Paired with the Mac OS Big Sur, they're going to create a different experience, an experience similar to the iPhone or the iPad. Apple really want to combine power efficiency and performance with the M1 chip, and it definitely does that. The M1 chip is a 5nm processor, which is exactly the same to the A14 Bionic chip, which is in the new iPhones. The M1 chip does contain an 8-core CPU, which Apple says is the world's best performance per watt. It also offers an 8-core GPU, which Apple says is the world's fastest integrated graphics. Okay, so that is the M1 chip, a new chip that will change the game for Apple and change the game for the MacBooks and Mac Minis. So now let's move on to the MacBook Air. Now, the MacBook Air was the first product for Apple to announce in this event. Where do I even begin? 18 hours of battery life. Do you even know how much that is? 18 hours. Basically, if you had the MacBook Air fully charged at New York and you went on the plane to Sydney, it would just run out of battery when you got to Sydney. It's pretty good, mate. It's pretty bloody good. Put the shrimps on the barbie, you know what I mean? Should I just do an Australian accent for the whole video now? What's really cool is the MacBook Air does not contain a fan, which is a little bit strange. It's a little bit crazy, but hear me out. Because it has no fan, that's going to give you a super silent experience, and it's going to make the MacBook Air feel more pleasurable to be around because there's no sound coming out. Only this really, really bad Australian accent, which I'm going to stop right now because I'm embarrassing myself and I'm going to get some brutal abuse in the comment section below. Okay, so another thing, machine learning is 9 times faster. With the new Mac OS Big Sur that's coming, the M1 and the Mac OS Big Sur basically just merge together to make the experience of using a MacBook so much better. With the MacBook Air, with the Mac OS Big Sur and M1 chip, you're going to have a better experience. There's a new design coming, better security features, and using things like Safari or Photos gets quicker and makes your experience of using the MacBook Air so much better. More apps will be coming to the MacBook Air as well, thanks to the Mac OS Big Sur. Favorite apps on your iPhone or iPad are now available to come out on the new MacBook Air. Retina display will be on the MacBook Air, making text sharper with more pixel density and colorful stuff more colorful. It's going to be better, especially if we're watching, movies or evening tech talk on YouTube. It's just going to be a better experience, and an experience like listening to my Australian accent, which I'm glad I stopped now. I feel a lot better for doing that. For things like FaceTime, there will be a better camera, so you're going to get a sharper image. It's going to look better. You can see the person clearer, and also a free microphone array, which will focus on your voice more than the surroundings, so a better experience on FaceTime in general with the MacBook Air. Touch ID will be available on the MacBook Air as well in the top right, which is perfect for opening up the MacBook or paying for stuff with Apple Pay. It's a really useful feature, and I think it'll be widely used. In terms of pricing, it's £999 for In terms of pricing, it's £999 for 256 gigabytes and £1,249 for 512 gigabytes. It comes in space grey, silver, and gold. So now let's move on to the Mac Mini. So the Mac Mini is super small. It's probably as small as the M1 chip is, ridiculously small. It's perfect if you want that subtle and sleek experience of using the M1 feature. If you want to experience the M1 chip, but you don't want to get a laptop, Mac Mini is the only option at the moment. So you're going to get that M1 experience, using your keyboard and monitor. Apple on the slideshow for the Mac Mini do say it's perfect for gaming, maybe to use that PS5 or Xbox Series X. We're not racist, so whichever one you want to use. With the 8-core CPU and ML accelerators, music creation gets easier on the Mac Mini. On the back of the Mac Mini, we've got the power, Ethernet, 2 USB-C ports, HDMI, 2 USB ports, and a headphone jack. To finish it off, the pricing is £699 for 256 gigabytes and £899 for 512 gigabytes, and it only comes in silver. Now let's move on to the MacBook Pro, the final product that Apple announced. So the MacBook Pro still contains a fan, unlike the MacBook Air, but the active cooling is needed for the sheer performance it obtains. There really isn't much to talk about on the MacBook Pro. There's not much difference. It is better than the Mac Air in terms of performance, 100%. But you're still going to get that M1 chip that you're going to get on the Mac Air anyway. But if you're a college student or you do a lot of work, you definitely go for the MacBook Pro over the MacBook Air, just because it's better in terms of performance. But what sets the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air apart is the battery life. Even though the Mac Air is 18 hours of battery life, the MacBook Pro is 20 hours of battery. Do you know how long that is? That is ridiculous. That is actually the longest battery life ever in a Mac, which is so cool and so historic, really. In terms of pricing, it's £1,299 for 256 gigabytes and £1,499 for 512 gigabytes. It comes in silver and space grey. So guys, that is it. The M1 was the real showstopper, and we're going to see it over the future revolutionize the Macs, and hopefully it will make the Mac experience even better. Now, I want to know, from these products I've mentioned, will you be copying the Mac Air, the Mac Mini, or the MacBook Pro? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and share if you found anything useful. Thank you and peace.